So it is our tradition at graduation to invite one of our honors alumna who is here for the award ceremony to share some words of wisdom at our graduation. Gerry Morton, our speaker, who received the Spirit of Inquiry Award, graduated from the University of Arizona in 1995 with honors in entrepreneurship. He started his professional career in software sales, ranking at the top of the company year after year. Then he went on to real estate, and more recently purchased Energy First, a nutrition products company. His interest in nutrition and health are evident throughout his personal and professional lives and community service. Please join me in welcoming Gerry Morton.
Good evening, everybody. And thank you, Dr. McCorkadale. Congratulations to you, Elaine Philippe, Andrea, Alan, Philip, the Alumni Legacy honorees, and all of you, the class of 2013. I appreciate the chance to speak with you. This wonderful award has a personal meaning for me because of its inspiration by Dr. Richard Kissling. I knew Dr. Kissling well as a teacher, advisor, mentor, and friend. I will always remember him, actually, the blind man who led me, the man with the seeing eye dog who had so much vision himself of how to live a life well. It is because of Dr. Kissling and the spirit of inquiry that he championed that I learned myself not ever to be limited by assumptions and expectations. Instead, to acquire for myself and my life about going beyond assumptions, digging beneath the surface in order to discover not what appears, but what actually could be possible. A sense of wonder about life is what I see each day in my 4-year-old daughter, Rebecca, and my 6-year-old son, Thomas. Kids are always open, ready for more of life, ready to imagine and dream. It's the same spirit I work to keep alive in myself. I enjoy it so much when I see it as well in my wonderful wife, Mercedes, and my son, Andrew, a thriving wildcat. I'm so grateful that both of you are here today. In thinking about this event, I wondered what I could tell you. What could I say that just might be of some use to all you new graduates? I actually asked myself what I wish someone would have told me when I was sitting where you are. Dr. McCorkadale has written that life is transformation, and that the years you've just spent here are a milestone in your transformation. There's no question about it. The U of A Honors College did indeed transform me. I told you about the enormous impact, for example, that Dr. Kissling had on me. But certainly that growth continued, as Dean McCorkadale knows it does. I've learned a lot of lessons from life, in fact, and they help me every day to be the person I want to be. So let me share some of them with you. If even one of them proves useful to you, if even one aspect of what I've learned, sometimes the hard way, can be helpful to you as you move forward from here, well, I'll be very glad, and that is certainly my desire. When I think about the lessons life has taught me thus far, one word that comes to mind is confidence. Back when I was in your seat, I had not lined up a job, and I didn't know where my future would take me. So I just decided to call up one of the outside executives who had come in to talk with our entrepreneurship class. I'd found him very interesting, so I gathered up my courage, I called him and asked for a meeting. The amazing thing was, I got one. After discussing his business for a while, I gave him a very sincere compliment. He had so much going for him, I said. But I also said that the man was missing one key ingredient, one essential component that he would need for his future success. And what might that be, he asked. I replied very simply, me working for you. Guess what? I landed the job. Have you ever heard the phrase, fake it till you make it? Well, I was faking it a bit, but I also knew that I'd had a great education right here at U of A, and I knew that I was willing to work just as hard as I was needed to. There's often a thin line between confidence and arrogance, but my success getting that job showed me that I'd been right to project a sense of confidence, that I could do the job, so that my future boss would actually believe in me. From that day on, I never forgot the fact that another person can't read my mind. If you have any doubts about your experience and capability, they don't know that. What they know is how you project yourself. I learned that day that if I show belief in myself, that gives someone else the psychological permission to believe in me as well. So that lesson started me off. Another thing I've learned in life, even as I pursued entrepreneurial success, is not to underestimate love. And that has made a crucial difference. In my junior year, right here, I met a beautiful woman and we ultimately began dating. Upon graduation, she and her then 4-year-old son, that's Andrew, whom I love so much, moved up to Northern California. I finally left the job I just told you about, and I followed love like the needle of a compass, over to California, where the wonderful Mercedes and I got married and eventually had Thomas and Rebecca. I was asked in an interview recently about my proudest accomplishment in life. I responded without hesitation. That's my family. So what have I learned? That love is powerful and can change your life. Love can bring joy into everything you do. Based on the lesson of love, what I hope for you is that as you go out and pursue your careers, never underestimate, no matter how hard you work, no matter how successful you are, the power of love to enhance everything else you've got going. A third lesson I've learned involves energy, personal energy, how to get it and how to keep it. When I moved to Northern California, I ultimately got a job making 100 calls a day. I was certainly willing to do it, but I was in fact overweight. My energy was low. That's just how it is. Extra weight needs extra energy from the body. I realized I needed to do something about myself. I decided to run a marathon and ran my first in Silicon Valley in 1997 with the CEO of my company at the time. He convinced me to push myself further and do an Ironman triathlon with him the next year. Well, then I got the bug. I ended up doing 4 Ironmans, 36 marathons, and a bunch of other ultra-endurance events. Along the way, I learned some secrets to boosting my energy and therefore my work performance. I call them secrets, but they're really just basic best practices that make a difference. Drinking plenty of water, exercising regularly, being conscious of my diet, where 70% of my results come from, and drinking a tasty protein shake for breakfast every day. The result, it's undeniable. I experienced it firsthand. My productivity went up in every aspect of my life. So this lesson I learned, and am now passing on to you, is don't underestimate the value to who you are and to all that you want to be, of ensuring that you have enough energy by taking time to focus on and maintain your own fitness. It's never too late to start. The next thing life has taught me can be summarized in just 2 words: be ready. That CEO I mentioned who did the Ironman with me, well, he ended up leaving the company and he brought me right along with him. We were 25 people informally working together in a converted apartment building, struggling as a team to land our first paying customer. 2 years later, the new company was worth about $7.5 billion, with over 1,000 employees, and publicly ranked as one of the fastest growing software companies in the country. I went from $50,000 in debt to $4.5 million in cash. As much as I'd love to, I really can't claim all the credit for that. Some of it was luck, a factor in all our lives. But some of it, I realized, was being ready to seize an opportunity when it was presented. I come back to Dr. Kissling. His encouragement of me to keep a spirit of inquiry, not to stay stuck in preconceived ideas, was a factor in my having the courage to say yes to a new idea of how I could make a living. Sometimes I talk to people about putting ourselves in the river of opportunity, giving ourselves the exposure that lets opportunities come our way. But it's more than just being in the river. You have to be prepared, mentally prepared and ready to grab an opportunity when it lands in your hands. Thank you, Dr. Kissling, for helping me be ready by encouraging an open mind. But life has also taught me that what comes around can go away, especially if you begin to take opportunity for granted. This key lesson I've learned is captured in the word humility. Humility. If we don't keep our egos in check, the world has a way of doing that for us. So I got a little drunk on that $4.5 million. I left the company that had helped me achieve that kind of wealth. I moved to Southern California, and feeling a little full of myself, I placed all that wealth into one single stock. Guess what? That investment went from $128 a share down to $3 a share. It wiped out everything I'd made and brought me back to ground zero. I got kicked in the teeth really bad. Having thought I was set for life, I came right back to where I'd been when I first got out of school, back to a new beginning, wondering what to do next. I will never forget that feeling, nor how stupid I'd been. That experience taught me humility, never to take anything for granted, never to assume that if I've got something great, it's definitely going to stay. These days, I never take anything for granted. Not people, not possessions, not experiences, nothing. All of it is a gift from life that one must do one's best to earn. These days, I'm grateful for every blessing, and I never forget how easy it is to lose it all. So I always appreciate what I've got. Certainly, that includes another touchstone in my life. I appreciate relationships. After that very painful loss, I had no clue about what to do next. I decided to go on a ski trip with the folks at my gym to try to meet some new people and open myself up to any new opportunities that might be out there with my name on them. One guy on a bus to the lodge introduced me to his friend. That friend had a roommate who, it turned out, needed some help putting together a real estate deal. I ended up buying a 5-unit apartment building, all on borrowed money, scraping it completely, and building 3 new townhomes, which we then turned around and sold. That deal ended up making me over $1 million, and it got me back on track again. But it never would have occurred without my putting myself out there to make new friends and relationships. A very smart man once made the observation that each of us is the average of the 5 people with whom we spend the most time. I wondered about that statement. And then I wondered, what if it's true? Who are the people that comprise my key relationships? The people that I'm the average of? What can I do to pull the average up? Who are the birds of a feather I want to be flocking with? Relationships are important. Life has taught me that. But we always have a choice about the company we keep. So let's make our choices wisely. When I think about what I've learned, I think about perseverance. After succeeding a bit in real estate, I realized about myself that my true passion lay not in buying and selling properties, but in actually building a business. I read every book I could find on buying and selling companies. I made 26 attempts, none of which panned out. I did not want to give up. So I opened the yellow pages and looked up financial planners, the kinds of people company owners turn to. Know anyone who wants to sell their business to a guy who wants to make it grow? I asked. Once again, I made lots of calls. Most of them simply said, sorry, I don't. But I refused to give up. And I remembered that salesperson's adage that every no brings you that much closer to the eventual yes. And sure enough, with all that perseverance, someone finally said yes. I heard about a guy whose company was struggling, a nutrition products company. He was not ready to sell, but we did have things in common. He himself had completed Ironman triathlons. I met with him, joined a nonprofit board, which gave me contact with the man, and I kept asking him every 2 months for 2 years, are you sure you don't want to sell? Perseverance paid off. My friend and his partner had split, the business was losing money, and he needed to get out quick. If I could cut expenses and turn things around, then the company was mine. I seized the opportunity and never looked back. That company is mine today. It's Energy First. And I sincerely believe it offers the world's best tasting, highest quality, all-natural meal replacement protein shakes, none of which have anything artificial, nor any compromises in ingredient quality or efficacy. I'm proud of what I do. I take a lot of satisfaction in contributing to people's health, and I'm happy not only to be successful, but to do some good in the world. None of who I am would it all be the same if I hadn't been so fortunate to come to this school and started on the path of transformation that Dean McCorkadale describes. For me, Dr. Kissling was very much a part of that. Confidence, love, energy, staying ready for opportunities while being humble enough to know that nothing can be taken for granted, relationships and perseverance. All of those lessons are part of me now. And I have just one more to share with you, the incredible power of intention. Listening to your heart and focusing on what you intend. I've gained the absolute belief that when you create a burning desire for something constructive in your life, when you make that your clear intention, all the powers of the world can come together to make it so. Don't be afraid to dream big, like the child you used to be at some point was able to do. Whatever your passion is, I urge you to make it your intention. Commit to it. Own it. Fuel your own burning desire to be the person you want to be. Choose your destination. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and despite the ups and downs that you now know a lot about, I never gave up the search. Whether you call it intention, focus, a goal, dream, or vision, it helps you get someplace to know the destination you want. I had one clear intention for my talk with you today, to be absolutely honest with all of you about what I've learned in life and how I came to learn it, with the personal intention that somehow, hopefully, something I've said may, over time, prove valuable to you. In class of 2013, what I wish for each of you now is to use your own spirit of inquiry, looking into yourself, finding your life's intention, and putting everything you've got into making it real for your happiness and success. It's been an honor being here with you on this special day in your lives. I salute you, and I thank you.